What's going on, world? I'm Jabari, aka Tapman Case, and on today's episode, we in Denver, Colorado, and this is Life Within.
Okay, turn me up in the headphones a little bit. Look, some people search their whole life and never find it. Others think that they can see while living blinded. This isn't luck, this more like putting faith in time and letting go and watch how everything's aligning. For real, know your value, know your worth beyond your best perception. Cause your smallest fault to them could be their greatest weapon. And remember to whom much is given, much is tested. And when the going's rough, remember everything's a blessing. Once you get that right, you'll understand the reason of it. And all them pieces start to form, you see the meaning of it. Overwhelming sense of love, you get the cleaning of it. And find a way to
What's
filter
going
the
on,
shape.
world? We are back at it. Life with Ink out here in Denver, Colorado, and we are here with Cody at Old Larimer Tattoo Studio. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah, I appreciate you for accepting the offer to do the interview, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
So first and foremost, what got you started in tattooing?
It's a tough question. I always point back. It's just like a thing that caught my attention when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen Pocahontas, that Disney movie?
Yep.
I saw that when I was like maybe 5 years old.
Yeah.
And the Indians all had tattoos, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but
Right.
I need that.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was with me when I started. Like, I'd seen something on a movie, and I was just like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool, and I didn't have any like reference for that in my life. I didn't know anyone who had tattoos. My parents didn't know anything about it. Didn't have anything like that. So I break the Sharpies out. Like, Mom, you gotta draw skulls on my arms.
Yeah.
You know?
Were you like one of those kids that were into like drawing and like stuff like that when you were a kid, or?
I think I got into it from the tattoo thing.
That's like.
And I was like piercing myself around that time too. 5 and 6 years old, I was just like go get sewing needles and like poke holes in my shit.
Yeah.
So I think there was something about the tattooing and like the body mod thing before there was drawing.
That's funny, and what's funny is too, like a lot of people don't know this, but when I first started, like that's the first thing I did as far as like body modification was pierce my own nipples to hide them from my mom, and I was like 14 years old. Yeah, that was no, I don't have them anymore. It was a long time ago. But yeah, anyway, hell yeah, that's dope. So, like when you got into it, was it just like an instant like, hell yeah, this is it? Or was it something where you're just like, let me, you know what I mean? Like, what was it?
No, it was long. It was a slog for me. In part because I didn't know how to draw that well, so that came first. And I was more interested in tattooing than I was in drawing at the time.
Right.
So it was a bit of tedium to make myself learn to draw.
Right.
But I did that for some years, and then started to try to get into tattooing. It's hard to get into tattooing.
Yeah.
And I was very intent on the apprenticeship, following the
guidelines.
structure.
Yeah,
I didn't want to do
right.
it wrong and be, an outcast or something.
Right.
I gave up on that maybe after like my second attempt at an apprenticeship. It didn't
Right.
go that well.
Yeah.
But I got in with a tattoo shop finally, and it wasn't great the first time. I think I ended up apprenticing maybe like under three different tattoo artists. And it probably took me 8 years of struggle to get to where I was like doing tattoos.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't even ask. How long have you been doing tattoos?
It's been about 14 years now.
Okay.
Not counting that 8-year slog.
Right. Would you say you have like a like bold color? Like, what would you say your style is, or your favorite technique of tattooing? Do you have one?
I don't know.
Just everything?
Yeah, I mean, it goes in phases. Lately, I've been into that kind of neo-trad, bold line, bright colors, lots of like fades and stuff.
Right.
And I like that. That's cool. I was always into like biomech,
Right.
Biomech tattoos. Guy Atchison and all those guys. That was a big influence for me early on. But I don't know. It's always evolving, and some days I'm like, man, I just don't want to touch a color. I just want to do black. And some days it's like, well, I want to do more colors, So it switches.
I feel you. I'm more so like black and gray myself. I don't know. I just like the look of it. I was out in Cali for a while. And of course, Cali just has like amazing just black and gray work everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, damn. That's where I actually bought my first. Well, my brother bought me my first machine. It was out there in California. It was pretty dope. But yeah. So you got the guitar here. Okay, you said you do music. Well, so of course, like everything is all categorized in art. You know what I mean? So you've definitely been an artistic person your whole life. Tell us a little bit about the music path.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was what I was first picking up before I was drawing a tattoo or anything. And I'm into like heavy metal and death metal and stuff.
Right.
So I feel like it all, I don't know.
Ties into
It gels.
Right.
And I was playing music, playing in bands. You know, we would play shows at bars. From the time I was maybe like 14, I was playing shows. And I got with all these musicians that were older than me, so they could get me into the bars, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And then, you know, in bars, there's people with tattoos. So I got to see a bunch of tattoos that way. And like, you know, other musicians would learn that I was trying to learn it and stuff. And be like, hey, you gotta tap me up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got to do a bunch of crappy work on heavy metal dudes.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. But yeah, they definitely like cross-pollinate, and there's a lot of the same kind of people are in those circles, and I feel like the same kind of principles are present in both. They overarch, you know. Like the way I work up a sketch to a final piece is really similar to the way that I feel like songs get fleshed out, and it was a lot of cross-pollination in those artistic disciplines for me, which is cool.
Hell yeah. Now, would you say that like you apply certain aspects of art to like your actual personal life as well? Like for example, just in slowing down, you know what I mean? With me, like in slowing down, when you're working on the tattoo, of course it's gonna come out, you know, you can make less mistakes, and you know what I mean? Everything just kind of comes out smoother. So like, and I applied it in life, like just slow your roll, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta breathe a little bit, you know what I mean? So like certain aspects like that, would you say you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, actually, because I can't remember where I heard it, but I think I was reading a book or something, and there was a part about a person like only desire was to get lost in the moment was like their main goal.
Right.
And I hadn't thought about it in a long time this way, but of course that's what I was doing when I was first drawing, and I would just kind of focus in, and 4 hours would go by, and I would kind of like look up like, oh shit, what happened, you know?
Right.
And I was not very good at drawing or art, so it might have been like working on a piece this big for that long and gotten nowhere.
Right.
But just the act of being lost and doing it was pretty pleasant.
Right.
And as I've gotten more like, I don't know, more like professional maybe, better at it, more of like there's like a transactional element a lot of the time in the work that I'm doing. A lot of that fades away, and I forget about that goal of getting lost. So I've been trying to, do what you're saying, bring it back, slow
I
down.
feel you on that.
Get lost if I can.
I heard that from you know, a couple artists. They say, you know, they get so tapped into it that they kind of gotta tap back into the originality, like love of you know what got them started. I feel you on that, especially after tattooing for that long. I've only been tattooing now for like coming up on 4 years, so like I can imagine like 14 years in the game. Like hell yeah. What would you say your favorite thing about being a tattoo artist is? I know
That's a tough one.
yeah.
There's so many things about it that are amazing, and there's a lot of things that are hard. And for me, those are the same thing a lot of the time. You know what I mean? But I do. But I do really love like the problem solving with another person, and like having to work my way through, you know, difficult design problems or like questions of how to compose things, and incorporating another person's ideals and usually not even ideas but like gut feelings into what I'm doing, which is a challenge, but sometimes it really gels, and I feel really good about being able to make those things happen for people.
That's what's up, definitely. Now, easier question. What would you say, I see you got a lot of work, what would you say is your favorite tattoo piece that you have? If you can't show it, you can just tell us about it.
Well, my back I like a lot, which is pretty cool. It's like a kind of a blackout thing, but it doesn't look that cool, honestly, in terms of seeing it. In terms of like the ones to look at, I love this one right here. I don't know if you can see it up there.
Okay.
This fucking wizard guy right here.
Yeah. Okay, hell yeah, dope. I love that color too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Who did
that
it?
one. Mark Schwartzman.
Okay.
He works over here.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely.
You might talk to him later.
Yeah. Cool. How is it tattooing out here in Denver?
It's cool. It's where I've tattooed most, so I don't have that much to compare it to. But I feel like Denver's a big tattoo city. I think bigger than other cities, really. you know, I feel like the whole tattoo game is weird right now. It's been on this real roller coaster with COVID and all that stuff.
Right.
So those things are funky, but it's pretty cool.
I got a curveball for you. How do you feel about AI in like tattoo industry and stuff?
Yeah, I got lots of thoughts about AI. I got on it pretty early when it was like when Midjourney, you know, Midjourney was in its early stages, and I had a buddy who was kind of working in the tech space. He got me in there, so I got to play with it, and it kind of blew my mind. And for me, it did this thing, like the images that I was making. Have you used it much?
Not really, no.
It's cool. You type in.
I feel like I haven't tattooed enough in order to use AI.
Oh,
You
yeah,
need
yeah.
to keep pushing for drawings and stuff.
Well, just like separate from tattooing, like you type stuff in and it spits out images, and then you
Right.
can like refine it. And it's a lot of decision making. Like you have to kind of make stuff. My wife's an artist too. She got into it with me. We were playing with it. She got more into it than I did. She was
Yeah.
really going for it. And we would make wildly different things, you know? Like wildly different, not even slightly related, because we have really different aesthetics. But it called into question for me this concept of like what even is art, and people I think are opposed to the artificial version of it because they're like, it wasn't made by a human, it's all scraped and copied from stuff. And I agree, but I still feel like individuals making decisions like crafting an image is art, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like it to me.
Yeah.
And the images that I would make with it, I didn't really put any value in them. I don't think anyone would, and I don't think that they should. But by contrast, if I were to draw some simple sketch, maybe of your face or something with a pen, and it wasn't very good, maybe it didn't look like you, it was a little rough, maybe I messed up a proportion and had to like redraw it.
Right.
I think that sketch would inherently have a lot more value than the AI art,
Yeah.
without being any more like an art.
I feel you on that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. That's an interesting way to think about it, because so many people like I said, it's a curveball because some people, oh fuck that, you know what I mean, and some people like, yeah, I embrace it, like.
Yeah, and I get it because I used to do a lot of illustration work, and I would run with like the kind of the fantasy illustration world and do jobs that way, and I think it's a lot scarier for them, right? We're tattooers.
Right.
AI is not going to be doing the tattoo.
Right.
It might make the picture that we tattoo, but we're
Right,
still
right,
gonna
right.
do it
It's
and get paid.
yeah.
Those guys are not. You know,
Right.
it will take their jobs.
Yeah.
And so when the money thing comes in, that's where I understand. It's like we can't have this thing that's just going to wreck people's professions.
Yeah.
People who have spent their lives developing this beautiful practice of art making, we can't let that happen. That's bad.
Right.
So that, for me, that's bad. The way that you're engaging with it, though, is pretty neat. It can be a cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Any final words? Give a shout out for your Instagram. I'm gonna put it up there so everybody can see it.
Cool. Yeah, you can check me out, Cody Good Tattoos, here at Old Larimer Street Tattoo. Shout out to Mark for my wizard tat.
Definitely.
Check him out.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Likewise,
Thank you
so much. It was a
Be
pleasure.
blessed, definitely.